Good evening and thank you for watching News Channel 9 Weekend. I'm Melissa Sperato. We're nearing on 3 weeks of wildfires and it looks like they aren't planning to stop anytime soon. The lack of rain and gusty winds are making it hard for firefighters. On Lookout Mountain, more than 100 acres are burning there and the threat of more still looms. On Tatum Gulf Road, Allison Levine shows us how volunteer fire crews help protect nearly 20 homes from being taken over by the wildfire.
So they burned this.
Fighting fire with fire. For the volunteer fire crews on Lookout Mountain, it's more than a saying. Joyce Stakely has lived on this bluff for 16 years now. She couldn't believe how this brigade of fire crews planned to save her home.
This morning earlier, they were doing some burns over there just to protect those people's homes.
Smoke and ash fall from the sky, alarming Stakely and her family.
For the last 24 hours or so, we have been just traumatized.
But the dedicated firefighters charged with protecting these homes are undeterred.
They were all just focused on saving what we had here.
Stakely's neighbor, Julian Wilson, watched the crews move from property to property all morning long.
They're just going from place to place, trying to protect the structures, and they're doing an amazing job, doing a great job.
One of those structures is Wilson's own home. Early this morning, crews set a fire just feet from his front door to clear out debris that could easily add fuel to the fire. The result, charred earth, smoldering flames, and a very nervous homeowner.
I stayed up all night, so I've lost some sleep, but I'm okay.
That fire break and other early preparations saved homes like Wilson's and Stakely's.
That calms things down if you know that they have a plan, and they do.
Now, only one phrase matters to these hard-working firefighters.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Allison Levine with that story. Evacuations have not been ordered for that area just yet. Seth Hawkins with Georgia Forestry says the fire may move up to Old State Road, and they'll have to do the same thing they did on Tatum Gulf to the homes there. But they say after that, the threat drops dramatically because he says there's not that many homes on that side of the mountain. That's not the only fire burning in the North Georgia area. There's one in Cedartown that's burned nearly 550 acres, another on Lookout near Cloverdale, and another in Rocky Face that's now charred 450. This morning, a new fire sparks on Walden's Ridge. Forestry Service officials say a fire started on Poe Road. These photos from the Tennessee Department of Agriculture show the fire, which has burned around 150 acres and is only 15% contained. The Florida Forestry Service is now helping crews in Tennessee fight fires. Crews are still working to contain wildfires on Flippers Bend and Mowbray Mountain. Mowbray burned 625 acres and is halfway contained. Flippers Bend has burned 1,000 and is 90% contained.
It was the goal to try and work as quickly as possible, but of course I know a lot of residents were wondering why they haven't been able to return until now. Is because we had to make sure that it was completely safe for their return home to their homes.
The wildfires on Walden's Ridge have burned more than 1,600 acres combined. Forestry Service officials say the biggest thing people can do to help is keep their yards clear of debris and fuel that could cause those wildfires to spread. And there are wildfires in almost every county in our viewing area. Tennessee has 58 active right now, and Georgia has more than 100. Tennessee is in a state of emergency and will get funds for 75% of the firefighting efforts in Sequatchie and Hamilton. New tonight, Tennessee State Agriculture Commissioner has issued a burn ban for 2 counties in our viewing area. They say burning is banned in both Hamilton and Marion. That is effective immediately and will remain in place until further notice. And with all those fires and windy conditions, you may have noticed a blanket of smoke over your area. The Chattanooga-Hamilton County Air Pollution Control Bureau says the air quality is at a code orange. All that smoke is unhealthy for sensitive groups. Alana LaFleur shows us how people are dealing with that smoke.
All the smoke in the air Saturday was hard to ignore.
Couldn't almost see the dam when we first got here. It was really hazy.
But it didn't stop Ari Gwindon from enjoying a good game of Frisbee.
Good temperature to be outside, and even though there's smoke in the air, it's a lot more refreshing than being inside.
The performance wasn't affected by the conditions.
As far as bothering the air quality, it didn't at all.
But that wasn't the case for everyone outside Saturday. Jennifer Hedman put a mask on while she collected money for charity on Highway 58.
I was out here for about 3.5 hours and started feeling it being harder and harder to breathe, and I realized that my chest was starting to hurt.
With fires like the ones on Mowbray Mountain, Flipper Bend, and Lookout Mountain, Hedman says she doesn't know if she can physically continue volunteering.
This has been the thickest area I've been in, where it's just settling here, and the colder it gets, the more it's settling down.
That was Alana LaFleur with that story. The Air Pollution Control Bureau says children, teens, seniors, and people with heart or lung diseases should stay indoors and keep those windows closed. The smoke was a concern for organizers of the Chickamauga Battlefield Marathon, but racers crossed the finish line without any problems today. With so many fires in and around northern Georgia, there was some worry about air quality, but organizers got the all clear from the National Park Service. Surveyors said the race and air quality were not at risk from nearby fires.
And, we certainly wouldn't want runners running through thick smoke, so if that would have been a concern, we would have looked at alternate plans for the event.
The race kept its normal numbers and set up first aid in the medical tent. The Tennessee Department of Agriculture says 4 new fires sparked up today alone. Those were in East and West Tennessee and the Cumberland District. With no rain in sight, that threat of strong winds could help push those fires further. Bill Race is here to tell us how it could work and if the chance of colder weather could prevent it. Bill.
We do have a little more favorable news, at least about the wind, and that is that it's very light tonight, less than 5, even calm. And then during the day Sunday, a wind out of the north 5 to 10 will be in the afternoon mainly. So we keep that in mind. Also, humidities will be a little bit higher tomorrow. We were down around 35% as a minimum today. Tomorrow, more like 45%, and that does make a difference from what I've been told by the folks that do work these fires. Now, as far as a shower, there's a slight chance, especially to our east. It doesn't appear that that is anything to get too worked up about, because it just doesn't seem too much rain is headed for us until maybe this time next week. By the way, the air quality forecast, now because a couple of those factors, they have brought this down to the moderate level, just on the edge of the unhealthy. 100 forecast for the air quality Sunday and Monday. But again, obviously, there's still going to be some smoke in the air, and something that for those of you that are in that group that we just talked about have to be very careful with. And highs for tomorrow will be in the lower 60s. Now back to Alyssa.